Yeah, I want to put out some information about Michael Hastings, who died in a fiery car crash. He was the investigative reporter that broke the story on some goings on in Afghanistan and actually brought a general down. He died in that fiery car crash in his Mercedes going at 75 miles an hour, supposedly like ran a red light. But it's said, there's a couple stories out there. I'm going to point to links in it. They're lengthy stories. I'm not going to go over the whole thing at all, but just to give you quick heads up on it. For the people that are mainly attuned to conspiracies, they tend to believe Michael Hastings' death was highly suspicious. Now I tend to believe that, and I'm not necessarily always attuned to all the conspiracies. I tend to believe that because he pissed off very important people. But it looks like there was a name. Basically, he was out in his residence in. And he was stating that there was helicopters following him, and it was up in the air, and he's afraid his car was being tampered with. And the day he actually used his car and died, he was trying to borrow the neighbor's car because he was afraid. He had this idea, he told her, that he thought his car was tampered with. How's that? And these new Mercedes, they are pretty much drive-by-wire. Theoretically, you can take control of them somehow, because it's electronics governed and stuff. It's not like the old cars with the cables and stuff. So next time you report somebody like that, you'll get a copy of Al Capone's car, like a 1930 something with armored plate, and it's all old school. They can't mess with it. So I don't know what the hell to tell you, but there'll be something else. There'll be something else. Also about there's another article about the coroner. It seems like he got in trouble before for putting out false reports and stuff, and he wasn't like you had a previous trial that they said he was unreliable because of previous testimony he gave, that he kept switching the truth a couple times. He was the guy that did supposedly the autopsy or whatever the hell it was. He was a coroner with, nobody did the autopsy, but he was a coroner on Hastings. The family looks like they're criticizing the LAPD for doing a really sloppy job investigating the case. So, I'm not going to get into this very deep. I'm just going to point to a couple lengthy articles, and it looks legit. This guy was killed. He had some other information out there. So we got a lot of corruption in the government. Like, what else is new, right? But it's not something you want to hide your head in a hole and ignore completely. But then again, you gotta say stuff, say stuff, keep it out in the open. The one thing the bad guys don't like is being routed out like rats. Like cockroaches. They don't want the light shine on them too hard. That's really what the deal is. But I've been pretty critical of AJ, because I think guys like him are actually playing the game with the bad guys too, But, that's not all the fault of AJ. That's actually the fault of a lot of his listeners, to be quite honest. Because people like him can't exist without gullible people buying into giddy rumors and things like that and drama stories. But, it just looks like, hey, another guy that stuck his neck out trying to, save the American people from harm from a lot of corruption in the government. He's been silenced. And that's Michael Hastings. So I'll point you to these two articles. You can read them and spread the word. And if the people don't, if you're spreading the word to, they don't want to listen, hey, screw them. You know what the deal is. I mean, it's like, don't waste your time on people that don't want to bother. That's my attitude too. You can only spread the word too much, and be chill.